UAE political analyst Ahmed Alameri warns of systemic ethnic religious violence against peaceful Nigerian Christians. This is coming from an Arab man or Arabian. Yeah, okay. Ahmed Sharif Alameri, a political analyst from the United Arab Emirates who focuses on youth and cultural affairs, has drawn international attention to what he described as campaign of ethnic and religious violence against Christians in Nigeria. In a post shared on his X account on Tuesday, Alameri said Christian families are being attacked in their homes, churches, and being set ablaze, and children are reportedly being killed for practicing their faith. Barrister, what do you? This is impressive. This is to tell you that for an Arabian to actually add his voice to this genocide issue, genocidal issue, it also means it only means that the thing has become really, really glaring. The evidences have become indisputable. The evidences have become so conspicuous that nobody can deny it anymore except the government of Tinubu. Barrister, how do you feel that an Arabian, someone from an entire a core Muslim background, is actually adding voice to the call against genocide in Nigeria, Christian genocide in Nigeria?
Yes, when I first read what the man from UAE said, I was taken aback. I was surprised that somebody from that place, even though as of today there is a good exchange between Nigeria and UAE in the terms of the number of Nigerians that go to UAE and the number of UAE people that come to Nigeria. So it is expected that they will know about Nigeria, just like Nigerians know about the UAE. But I was really surprised. I would have expected somebody from the Western world, like the mayor that came here, he would have been in sync with how things used to evolve. But it goes to show that a momentum has been gathering in the past few years on this genocidal issue, which in all honesty has happened and is happening. Those who have, the pressure as we speak, there is a parliamentary delegation of Nigeria, senators and House of Reps who are in the US, trying to lobby and campaign so that the US will not designate Nigeria as a country of concern. You were talking about what the foreign Nigeria being an independent country and what the foreign countries. US has this issue that if they put you on the list of country of concern, you are going to lose a lot. You have things like military aid. If you want to buy weapons from US, they will not be able to sell to you if your name appears on that list. So now the campaign in the US is to put Nigeria on that list. So they have sent both the federal government, the National Assembly, they have delegations currently in the US to try to prevent that. And there is tremendous pressure inside the country on Christian leaders to try to step down from that narrative. I am sure you have heard Bishop Kuka.
Yeah, hold on. Let me read this. I was going to that because I wanted you to learn first. Now, yes. I don't get it. First, now the Christian Association of Nigeria restates ongoing genocide in Nigeria, backs U.S. Senator Ted Cruz's remarks. Barrister, where has a CAN been? I've been a very strong critic of not just the CAN, but PFM, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. The so-called men of God. I have always said that Christians are the sheep to the shepherds called bishops and papas and fathers and reverend fathers and pastors and all apostles, we are supposed to be their sheep. They are supposed to be in charge of us. They are supposed to be, they're supposed to be a protective umbrella on us. But these so-called priests and men of God have not been saying anything. They've not been doing anything. They've just been living in opulence and luxury. They have been very insensitive, very empathetic, very unempathetic. They have just been doing things as if nothing has been going on. Look at people all over the world who are not even Christians, for God's sake. Somebody like Bill Maher, for God's sake. For God, in the US, that guy is like an atheist. He doesn't even believe in God. He's the one advocating for Christians. We've heard about this Muslim guy from United Arab Emirates. These are people fighting for Christians. Yet, the real core Christians, who are the custodian of Christianity in Nigeria, they are not doing anything. It is now that this as far as I'm concerned, this is belated. Now Khan is coming out to whatever. This is hypocrisy. That is one. Secondly, Reverend Matthew Kuka, that man, I have never, even during Obasanjo time, because the man made serious name. He became very, very, very more popular during Obasanjo regime. I have never, the way people respect that man and think he does it right, I've always seen Matthew Kuka as a corrupt Reverend Father. I've always seen him as a hypocrite. He plays along with every government of the day. Now look at this issue of genocide. He is denying it, for God's sake. How can you be a Christian father with all these glaring evidences that are coming from both local and international sources? Yet you are still denying that genocide is not taking place. What else do you expect? Of course, this man is dilly-dallying with. He has been hobnobbing with Tinubu's government from day one. Of course, what do you expect? Matthew Kuka, they sent him to Sokoto. I think he's still there, Sokoto or whatever. When they sent him there, I said, well, it's not surprise to me because he's the only one that the Muslims love him so much. Of course, they love him so much because he is the one that he's that kind of person who he's a hypocrite. He tells you what you want to hear. And that is just it. That is why, as volatile as the Southwest, as the Northwest is, he can still conveniently, comfortably be there without being threatened. Barrister.
When you talk about Khan, you have to understand that there is a lot of disillusionment with Khan. And that's how the PFN emerged. Khan now was operating more on the political level than as a religious body to protect its people. They were operating more on the political level. Now, because of that, we had the PFN emerge. The PFM has also gone the same way that Khan went. One would have expected that these two bodies will be in the forefront of putting irrefutable data and evidence forward. They will drive a genocide narrative so as to get both national and international attention to end the killings. But all you hear from them is quiet. I doubt. Look, I expected either the PFN or Khan to have at their fingertips data on every single Christian killed, on every church.
Of course.
The date and time and hour that it has happened. This would solve and clear all doubts if you have, and not only have it with them, to put it out there repeatedly for both Nigerians and the world to see. Is because a lot of Nigerians, but some Muslims and even Christians, have not been seeing this data clearly in context, that some of them even go ahead to even try to discount the issue of genocide. But it happens and the data is there. You would have expected the PFN, the CAN, to be in the forefront of pushing forward that data. They wouldn't. Take a person like, when the issue came out, the CAN president was among the first people to come out and discount the genocide issue.
Honestly, you can imagine that.
In Khan itself,
An irony.
there's now a division. Some are very, very unhappy with what he did, and you hear the statement now. That is the issue that is happening in Khan now. You look at Reverend Kuka, who was posted as the Bishop of Sokoto. He's a close friend to the Sultan.
Wow.
To a very close friend to the Sultan. And in the seat of his bishop, this thing is in Sokoto.
Yeah.
Whenever there's an issue, if you look at his statement, you can see that he is talking on the political level. He is under, like other Christian leaders, under tremendous pressure from the government not to support that narrative. He came up and said, well, his Muslim friend recently dashed him a Prado Jeep. Now, if you hear that as an excuse for saying there's no genocide, it makes nonsense of his intellect. And to be honest, he's a very brilliant.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Intellectual. He's very brilliant intellectual. So when you juxtapose that with his reason, one of the reasons he gave up publicly that there's no genocide, that his Muslim friend dashed him a Prado Jeep, you will begin to see why he's struggling. He's having an internal struggle to justify the position that the government has forced on him. But you come back to the same thing. This genocide exists. It is still happening. By any definition of genocide, what has been happening is genocide. And I have not seen anybody come up to say anything that is worth considering as a defense that there's no genocide. To say Muslims are also being killed is not a defense that there's no genocide of Christians.
Yeah.
So, and that has been the only and sole defense that people like the Sultan and others that come up to say there's no genocide. That's the only thing they say. Look, Muslims are being killed. Even some of them say more Muslims are killed. That is not a defense. That is not to say that there's no genocide against Christians. They just conflate the issues and in that process confuse the issues. There is genocide going on, and I've said the same thing. If you come and massacre people, their children, wives, burn them, burn their houses, burn their communities, not once, not twice, but repeatedly over the years, and then it's one tribe or ethnic group against the other, that is the definition of genocide. Can anybody come out and deny that this scenario has not happened or is not happening in Nigeria? Nobody can deny that.